In this video, I'm going to be talking about the rules for the humble Skaven Clanrats. Now, Skaven Clanrats are akin to kind of gummies in the Warhammer universe. They're sweet, chewy, and completely lacking in nutrition. That's probably not quite right. What I mean is that they gum up the works by being in the way, acting as a speed bump, and providing the bodies necessary to capture objectives. They have basically one real reason to exist, and that is to put bodies on the table. In that regard, Clanrats are really one of the best horde units in the game because they are truly expendable. They are relatively cheap and surprisingly reliable with a little bit of help. They don't need to be too effective in close combat, but with the right support, they aren't something you can write off completely. So let's look at the stats on their war scroll. They move 6 inches, which is above average and quite suitable for little rats. They have a single wound per model, they have bravery 4, and they have a 6+ armor save. When you equip your Clanrats, you have a choice of 2 different weapons. The rusty spear has a range of 2 inches, provides 1 attack, and allows you to hit on a 5+, wound on a 4+, and cause 1 damage. And then in comparison, the rusty blade has a 1-inch range, provides 1 attack, and allows you to hit on a 4, wound on a 4, and also causes 1 damage. So basically you'll get more attacks of the spear, but you'll be a little less accurate. So within the unit, the clan leader has an additional attack with either the spear or blade. 1 in 20 models in the unit can be given a Clanrat standard bearer, and this allows the unit to retreat and still charge later in the same turn. This is a great ability if you need to switch targets, block a different unit, or get closer to an objective. The Skaven Bellringer allows you to add 2 to run rolls, which can make this unit quite fast since it starts with an above average movement already. Its single ability is called Clan Shields, and this increases the default armor save to 5+ if there are at least 10 models in the unit. The Clan Shield isn't actually a requirement to field the unit, but since there isn't an option to retake 2 units, you'll always default to taking the shield. So overall, a 5+ armor save is, relatively average, but it's not particularly good, not particularly bad. Either way, I'm pretty happy because most units are going to have at least 10 models. They have the following keywords: Chaos, Skaven, Skaventide, which is important, Clan Verminous, and Clanrats. So Clanrats are considered battleline in Skaven armies. 20 Clanrats clock in at about 120 points, and units of 40 you have a discount, and they cost 200 points at that level. That seems fairly solid to me. It's a decent amount of points for what you're getting. So let's take a look at how this humble unit of militant rats can become a little more effective. There are 2 army special rules that will likely apply to Clanrats. One is called Strength in Numbers, and this allows Skaventide units to increase their bravery by 2 for every 10 models in the unit. That means that although the default bravery of Clanrats is a pathetic 4, it will generally be 4 to 6 points higher because of the size of the Clanrat units. It's also worth noting that there are plenty of Skaven abilities that can make units immune to battle shock. This is good because, as I said at the beginning, the purpose of this unit is often to simply exist, and you want your opponents to basically slowly chew through every single cheap, expendable rat. So it's important to keep in mind that Skaven units really suffer from diminishing returns. They can be quite potent as a large pack, but that punch drops off dramatically as their numbers are thinned. So case in point, the other army buff for Vermintide units is called Overwhelming Mass. This rule allows you to add 1 to the hit rolls if the unit includes more than 20 models, and 1 to the wound rolls if it includes 30 or more. This means that those spears are now hitting on a 4 and wounding on a 3, while the blades are 3 and 3 respectively. Pretty decent at that point. Other Clan Verminous units can further buff the Clanrats. For instance, you can bring the Verminlord Warbringer, whose spell, Death Frenzy, allows you to pile in an attack of slain models before they are removed. That's a pretty nasty ability. And there's another similar spell in the Grey Seer, Lord of Ruin. So further, a Claw Lord, which is basically the Skaven general, has a command ability that can grant clan rats an additional attack on their profile, making them 2 attacks each. Both these abilities are great, and they can greatly increase the offensive capacity of clan rats. Generally, you might opt to boost a unit like Storm Vermin with these abilities, but the Warbringer can actually select D3 units, and there's an attachment that allows the Claw Lord to do the same. In those situations, clan rats are a decent option if you roll above a 1. So let's do some quick math hammer to see how these units really function in a statistical sense. Now, obviously, these are averages, so you can do much better or worse depending on your luck, and the overall damage is dependent on other factors like the opponent's armor and size. But using spears against a unit of comparable size, like another horde unit, you might be able to attack in roughly 3 ranks. So, assuming a unit of 40 clan rats, that would give you about 30 attacks. Buffed by overwhelming mass, you could anticipate that you would hit with 15 of those attacks and wound of about 7 or 8. Right, so it's half, half, and then 2/3 will wound. So running the same experiment of Rusty Blades, you might be able to attack with roughly 2 ranks. That would provide about 20 attacks, and if buffed by overwhelming mass, you could expect roughly 13 hits and 6 or 7 wounds. Neither result is particularly amazing, but if you consider that those results could be doubled by the Claw Lord's ability, that's where you could really have some potential. 12 to 16 wounds is basically when you can actually expect some solid damage potential. The blades will generally perform a little better compared to spears when the unit's ranks have been depleted considerably, but at that point the diminishing returns have kicked in and the unit will likely perform terrible no matter what weapon you're using. So in general, the spears have a slight advantage. So I think that these guys are really quite interesting. They can do some damage if properly buffed and supported, but overall they act as kind of an effective barrier and are useful in board control. Because they can have quite high leadership and will often be immune to bravery, they can be a problem for the enemy if they need to chew through 80, 100, and 20, or perhaps even more of these gummies. That's a lot of models, and it really only represents between 1/4 and 1/3 of your army. By holding kind of the enemy in place for even 1 or 2 turns, that allows kind of the remaining Skaven of your army, that 2/3 to 3/4, to really do the dirty work and inflict the real damage. So that's basically it. I think that they are a pretty decent unit. They're cost effective. You can easily field 120 clan rats for just over 1/4 of your army, and they have the potential to gum up the works. 120 bodies that if you can make immune to bravery or immune to battle shock, that's 120 wounds that they've got to inflict before they can even really potentially get to some other good units that are actually doing the damage. Skaven don't have a problem capturing objectives of numbers, that's for darn sure. And I think that clan verminous army where you've really piled in to really push clan rats to do as much damage as they possibly can is potentially viable. But I'll talk about that a little more when I really look at the different types of army lists and the different clans that they can do on the battlefield. In the meantime, thanks for watching and have a good one. Bye.